Let's welcome back Roger Zakheim, Ronald Reagan Institute director and co-founder of the Reagan National Defense Forum, and Brett Velicovich, former Army Special Ops Intel analyst and founder of Power Us. Gentlemen, welcome back. Brett, I'll start with you. I mean, we're pounding them now. I don't know. This may be the last 25% that we heard from CENTCOM. They needed another 10 or 14 days to finish the mission. I don't know that. But my question to you, and I guess I'll ask Roger too, in your judge, do you think Iran ever truly thought they were in a peace deal? Is this, they treated this memorandum of understanding, like it was just a rolled up piece of yellow paper that was 3 weeks old? I mean, were they ever serious about this?
Well, Iran's been playing this game for decades, and this is all part of the playbook. And I think the Trump administration's made it very crystal clear lately that we're not going to let the world's most critical shipping lane be held hostage to them. And the U.S. Navy is the most capable maritime force in history. And so if the order was given by the president to guarantee freedom of navigation, I think the military could rapidly suppress Iran's ability to openly challenge commercial shipping. And we may have to do that because the Iranians just seem to not get it. It's over and over again, these lies from them. And that's why, myself have been saying for many, many years, it's going to take real strength. It's going to take real militaries getting in there and pounding them in ways that they've never had to deal with before. And, Iran has frankly spent decades preparing for an asymmetric fight. They want to disrupt this region, and they're relying on a lot of different technology to do that. But, the fact of the matter is that I think we need to get in there and crush them to the point where they can't recover. And the real question isn't necessarily about full regime change. The real question is whether we can really get in there and stop them from continuing to support organizations that threaten regional stability and in international commerce. Because as long as Tehran continues financing, training, and equipping proxy groups,
I understand
that region is going to remain unstable.
But before we get to that point, I want to ask Roger Zakheim. Roger, has Brett raised the question, if the president has given the order to clear the Strait of Hormuz? All right, that was, I believe, the Project Freedom, if that was what it's called, a while back, that lasted, 36 hours or something. So now I want to know, or your view, has the president given that order? And how difficult might that be?
Well, it's a challenging military operation, but one that our Navy is certainly capable of. Project Freedom cleared lanes for shipping to continue. It appears now the president has given CENTCOM the opportunity to actually open up the straits by degrading Iranian capability on the coast. So that, I think, is the meaningful difference between what we saw previously and now. I mean, the president has done over the past year, effectively, year plus, 4 freedoms. He's freeing us from the threat of the Iranian nuclear weapons program. He's freeing us from the terrorist threat, that ring of fire he's put out. The beginning of Epic Fury was about freeing us from the missile threat, and this is the last one to demonstrate once and for all that the Iranians will not have leverage over the Strait of Hormuz, and that's going to require this military operation. We've had 6 such episodes over the course of this week. It appears the president giving them direction to take it the whole way. We'll have to see. Of course, there's this negotiation going on sort of on the outside, and the president is doing what peace through strength is, strengthening our military hand, making sure their adversaries feel pressed, and if they want to submit to our requirements, they can. Otherwise, they'll feel the fury of our military.
Brett, the question, let me just come back. How hard is it to clear the strait? I understand the Omani Channel, the southern part. The numbers are down to 10 ships the last night or 2, something like that. Transponders turned off. But we were doing 40 and 50 ships before that. How can we clear the Iranian part of the Strait of Hormuz, Brett Velicovich? How difficult is that?
Well, can we eliminate every single threat in the region overnight? No. But, we can definitely establish control within the straits between our carrier strike groups, guided missile destroyers, drones, maritime patrol aircraft, our intel assets. We have overwhelming superiority over Iran's conventional naval forces. But here's what people miss. I mean, modern warfare isn't about fleets lining up against each other anymore. Iran has spent a lot of time preparing for this asymmetric threat. They're relying on swarms of inexpensive attack drones, anti-cruise ship missiles. They don't have to sink an aircraft carrier to create economic damage. They just need to convince shipping companies that the risk is too high. And so that's why this isn't just a simple naval operation. It's intel, it's air defense, it's cyber, it's an economic campaign all rolled into one. So the objective from our side isn't necessarily occupying the strait. It's to convince every commercial shipping company that the U.S. has restored confidence that vessels can transit safely. And once insurers, shipping companies, energy markets believe America has reestablished deterrence, you've already won a significant part of that battle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a very complicated engine. And look, I have no doubt we will succeed. It just may take a little bit longer. But Iran was never serious about a peace deal. Never, ever, ever. That's why they have to be crushed. Gentlemen, thank you. We never have enough time.